an hour ago. There were only 7 people in the theater. 3 women, Della Claire, Myra Debray, and Rita Lindman. 4 men, Frayne, my stage manager, the doorman, and myself. Frayne was on the way to my office when he was killed. Just at the foot of the stairs leading to my office. Backstage there.
Any idea who would have been interested in seeing him killed?
I think Frayne has fought with everyone here at some time or another this afternoon. Lindman fought with him, Myra fought with him, Della and he had a big argument. He even had an argument with the stage manager.
How about you? You fight with him, too?
Well, I would have liked nothing better, but I didn't. Actors are hard enough to handle anyway without fighting with them.
Well, how about showing me the victim, Rizdale?
Very well. Come on this way.
Hey, Sergeant, keep order here while we're gone. Don't let anybody leave the stage till we get back. Now, show Nick the body, Rizdale.
Well, Riley, I never expected to find you in a murder case without all those so-called experts you have down at headquarters.
With 3 bump-offs in the Bronx and 2 in Brooklyn, everybody's busy. Anyway, I don't need them.
Here we are. This little alcove at the foot of the stairs. I'll hold this curtain back so you can see in.
Leo Frayne has certainly taken his last bow.
Very pretty speech, Mr. Carter, but not very helpful.
Thought I wasn't supposed to be helpful.
Well, you don't have to stand around doing nothing now that you're here.
Well, here's the way it looks to me. I was in my office and had sent word to Frayne to meet me there. He was just about to go up the stairs when he met somebody and stopped to talk with him. Probably one of the women, I should say.
Why'd you say that?
Because I doubt if Frayne would have stopped to talk to a man. But he always had time for a woman. Also, a woman could have been holding a dagger in her hand, and he'd never noticed it, because it was part of all the women's costumes in this act. While he was talking to her, she stabbed him, and he fell back into that chair where he is now. Then she pulled the curtain across the alcove and went back to her dressing room.
You say the dagger that was used on Frayne is part of the costume?
Yes. All the women wore them in their hair for the big sacrifice scene.
Oh, so there are a lot of them all alike, eh?
All identically the same.
How many would there be altogether?
Let's see. 3, 6, 8, 9. 9 in all.
Rizdale, you said you thought a woman killed Frayne. This would certainly prove your statement.
What?
Look,
What are them, Nick?
2 long black hairs caught in the handle of this dagger in Frayne's chest.
Then it was a woman did it. A woman with black hair.
That lets Rita Lindman out. She's a blonde.
Yeah, sure, she's out. Hey, give me them hairs, Nick. They're evidence. Thanks. Yes, sir, we'll find which of the women has black hair and a jealous disposition, and we got the killer. Now, let's check up on those daggers first. Rizdale, where's the dressing room?
Down here, Lieutenant.
Wasn't Della Claire's dagger in her hair when I saw her on the stage a few minutes ago?
Yes, she's still in costume. The other daggers ought to be here. This is Lindman's dressing room.
There's her dagger on the dressing table there, which leaves Myra Debray's dagger not accounted for.
Well, Debray's dressing room's over here.
And there on the table, Lieutenant, is another pretty silver dagger.
Oh, well, what do you know?
Just this, Riley. If one of those 3 women did it, she didn't use her own dagger.
Yeah, but where did the extra dagger come from?
It could have been one of the chorus daggers.
Or the killer could have used her own dagger and then borrowed one from the chorus to replace hers.
Sure, Nick, that's it. And let's see if one of the chorus daggers is missing.
Over here, Lieutenant. They're all there on the dressing table.
Let's see. 5, 7, 8. No, 7. You said this would be 9, Rizdale. That leaves 2 missing.
Yeah. Well, get the stage manager. He'll know.
Can you call him from here?
No, but the other end of this corridor leads right out into the orchestra pit. I'll get him at once.
Hey, wait a minute, Rizdale.
Yes?
You say you can get from here directly to the orchestra pit?
Oh, yes. Why?
When you were telling me the story earlier, you said that you sent your stage manager, McIntosh, out front to get your script just before Frayne was killed, didn't you?
Well, yes, but...
And McIntosh knew that you were expecting Frayne to come up to your office.
I believe I mentioned it, yes.
Oh, McIntosh was where he could get to this part of the theater where Frayne was killed and back outside again quickly without being seen.
Yes, but so what?
He had a quarrel with Frayne. He knew Frayne would be here in the corridor just about then. And he knew all about them
None of that
too.
proves anything, Riley. Let's get on with our investigation.
Well, I wish we had a technician with a microscope here. That would tell who belongs to them hairs fast enough.
Quite true, Riley. But if the dagger that killed Frayne was taken from the chorus dressing room, those hairs could have come from any dark-haired girl in the chorus.
Look, we aren't doing anything just standing here. Let's do something.
You suppose the doorman could tell us anything?
Well, we can ask him, but he's a little deaf. He already told us he didn't hear anything unusual.
Well, I'll ask him anyway. Call him in, won't you?
Of course. Henry! Henry! Yes, come in here, will you?
Yes. You want me, Mr. Rizdale?
Yes, Henry. Lieutenant Riley wants to ask you a few questions.
Now, Henry, after everybody else had left, did you pay any attention to what went on down here? After everybody else had left, did you notice what went on down here? No, sir. That ain't my job. You didn't hear anything? People passing, or talking, or a cry? No, sir. Once or twice I heard a door shut, I think, and just before we found Mr. Frayne, I heard him leave his dressing room and slam his door. Uh-huh. Anything else? I thought I heard a door shut very quiet-like right after that, but I can't be sure. I don't hear as well as I used to.
You say you heard a door close quietly. Any idea which one it was?
No, sir. Ain't even sure I heard it. Looks as if somebody snuck out into the corridor as the Frayne started for the stairs and killed him. Maybe they planned it, but maybe they just saw they was alone and done it.
Oh, I don't like this. We're getting nowhere fast. Does it feel hot in here?
Redfield.
What's the matter?
Where'd you get that handkerchief you're using?
This handkerchief?
Yes. Whose is it?
Why, it's mine. Why?
Because there's blood on it. Fresh blood stains.
Is it possible that Rizdale himself is the killer of Leo Frayne? Or is this some new and unexpected twist of the case? We'll see in just a moment. And now back to our story. We left Rizdale trying to explain to Nick and Lieutenant Riley how there happened to be fresh bloodstains on his handkerchief.
Can you explain those bloodstains, Rizdale?
Blood, am I? But I can't... Wait. Yes, of course. Now I remember. This isn't my handkerchief. As I came down the steps looking for Frayne tonight, I found this at the foot of the stairs. I picked it up without thinking, and just a moment later, when I found Frayne's body, I must have stuck it in my pocket without thinking what I was doing.
May I see it?
Oh, of course, here.
A little small for a man's handkerchief. And here are some initials. Pretty fancy, but I should say they were D.A.
Huh? D.A. D.A.? Debray.
Has Miss Debray got black hair, Rizdale?
Yes, she has.
That settles it. She wrapped this around the handle of the dagger to keep the blood off her hands and to keep her fingerprints off the handle. Well, this handkerchief and them black hairs we found in the dagger will send her right to the chair.
If the hairs are hers, Riley. And don't forget how easy it'll be for anyone to pick up a lost handkerchief and use it for a false clue.
Now, look here, Nick Carter. Will you stop trying to tell me how to run my own business?
I'm just trying to point out to you, Riley, that if those hairs didn't come from Miss Debray's head, you're right back where you started, handkerchief and all.
Oh, all right. Then what do we do now?
Well, it isn't any of my business, but I have an idea that might work.
Well, let's have it by all means.
Suppose whoever left this handkerchief near the body didn't do it intentionally.
Huh?
Suppose they just dropped it without noticing it. Now, nobody but us knows it's been found, but whoever lost it is bound to think about it when the excitement dies down a little. Then she'll get scared and maybe look for it. Suppose we give her the chance to find it.
How do you mean, give her a chance?
Well, like this. We put the handkerchief right back where I found it, only hidden a little more. Then we'll send the three women back to their dressing room. Then we give them a chance to sneak out.
It'd be an interesting experiment, Riley, even if it doesn't prove anything.
Well, okay, we'll try it. But where can we hide somebody to watch?
There's a vacant men's dressing room just down the hall here. Suppose I put Henry here on guard in there. There's a phone there. He can phone us as soon as he sees anybody come out. We'll be in my office.
Okay. You got that, Henry? Yeah, sure. Sure, I can do it.
Now, Henry, you can sit right here. We'll leave the door open a crack, and as soon as you see one of them leaving her dressing room, call me at once.
Yeah, I got it, Mr. Rizdale. I'll watch real good.
Now, let's get those women down here.
Oh, let me at it, Sergeant. I'll fix that little mate. If you're snaking the grass, you're killing yourself.
Police! How can a poor detective think if you make so much noise? Now, Patsy, what's the trouble?
Well, Nick, everything was peaceable enough when suddenly Della jumped up and came over here and started yelling at Miss Lindman. And she started yelling back, and in a minute there was a swell fight going on.
Didn't I say I wanted no noise here? Well, I meant it. I don't want a sound out of any of you. Now go back to your dressing rooms and stay there and be quiet. And don't stir out of them until I say you can.
Miss Debray,
Yes, Mr. Carter?
were things around here this afternoon really as bad as Rizdale says they were?
Yes, Mr. Carter, every bit. Even I lost my temper once. Crane was especially unpopular all afternoon today. Why, he even quarreled with McIntosh, who generally never takes the trouble to quarrel with anyone.
That McIntosh over there?
Oh, yes. He's an ugly little man, but I guess he's all right.
How did Crane take all the argument that was going on?
Well, it was making him jumpy. He was talking of quitting the show, and Wisdale had to lay down the law to all the rest of us to soothe him. But I'd better go on back to my dressing room before the lieutenant gets mad.
Well, before you go, Mr. Bray, may I borrow your handkerchief just a moment?
Well, I don't seem to have it. I must have left it in my dressing room. I'm sorry.
Come on, let's get up to Wisdale's office and see what happens.
If anything. We don't expect this will produce much in the way of results.
Well, come on anyway. Even you could be wrong, you know.
Oh, this waiting's a tough game, isn't it?
I'd rather be doing something.
If we had a microscope, we could save time.
Huh?
Let me have those hairs we found, will you, Riley?
What do you want them for now?
Just to match them up with these hairs.
What did you suppose?
They're specimens of Claire's hair and Red Ray's. I have a pocket magnifying glass here. Thought I'd see if they could be matched up. Roughly.
Sure, here you are.
Yes. Red Ray's hair is finer than Claire's, and it has a faint ripple that Claire's doesn't have. Yes, Riley, there's almost no question but what the hairs found on the dagger matched Debray's hair, near as I can tell.
Oh, look, I'm going crazy sitting here. I can't think. My nerves are like a jackrabbit. It's either one of you got an aspirin.
Aspirin? Not me.
Sorry, Rizdale, I don't carry them either.
Oh, my head is splitting. I think my secretary keeps some in her desk in the next office. If she doesn't, I'll fire her. Oh, by the way, the ring for this office is 2 short ones. All the office phones are on the same line. Now, if you hear 2 short rings, it'll probably be Henry. So you better answer fast. I'll be right back.
Rizdale seems to have the heebie-jeebies.
So would you, Nick. If you was losing $100,000, even if it wasn't all your own money. Well, look, what about them hairs?
I feel sure the hairs are Debray's, all right. But I'm not yet positive just what they prove.
Oh, that's Henry. Yeah, Lieutenant Riley speaking.
They just came out. I can't be sure who it is, but it is a woman. She's just picking up the handkerchief now.
Huh?
Now she's starting back to her...
Henry, what is it? What's happened?
What is it, Riley?
Something's happened to Henry.
Happened to Henry?
Yeah, let's go.
Well, this door wasn't locked when I left it. It was open so Henry could see who was going down the corridor with a handkerchief. Key was on the inside. I don't get it.
Well, haven't you got a key that'll open it?
Yes, I have a master key. Here. Henry.
Nick, look. Another one of them daggers.
Yes. Right in the middle of his back. He's dead, all right.
She must have seen him looking out or heard him talking to me. She pushed the door open and stabbed him before he could turn around.
It's gone. The handkerchief is gone from where we left it.
That settles it. No more stalling. We'll break her door down if we have to.
Hold everything, Riley. Take it easy.
What do you mean, take it easy?
You want a live prisoner or a dead one?
What do you mean by that?
Look here. If Mr. Bray is guilty, and you break her door down, she'll know you have the goods on her.
Well,
She still has one of those daggers. And if I know her, she'll use it on herself, if she's guilty.
well, so what?
Furthermore, Henry said he couldn't be sure who it was he saw, didn't he?
No, Nick, it couldn't be anybody but Debray.
Even if you're right, Riley. If you let her think she's gotten away with it, you can search her dressing room when she's out of it. Then you can find the handkerchief and the key she locked this room with. They'll be hidden somewhere in there.
All the rooms are private washrooms. Now, she might try to put the key and the handkerchief down one of the drains. It'll take a plumber to get at them if she does.
Then, by golly, we'll get a plumber and tear out every pipe in the place. All right, Rizdale, get him out. It's your idea. Get the women out of the dressing room so we can search them.
All right. Carter and I'll go up to my office. I'll call them from there and then ask them to come up.
Okay. Get going.
How much longer do we have to wait here, Mr. Carter?
It won't be long now. We just wanted to get all 3 of you out of the way while Lieutenant Riley digs up the evidence that'll send somebody to the electric chair.
The chair?
Did you know that human hair can be identified just the same as fingerprints can? And just as exactly?
Well, I didn't. Nor I. I can recall reading that recently. Why? Whose hair have you found, Mr. Carter?
I'd rather not divulge that.
Got him, Nick. The key and the handkerchief, they was both in the drain pipe caught in the first trap.
Which room did you find them in?
Mr. Bray, how do you explain this handkerchief and key which we found in your dressing room?
Let me see that handkerchief.
Yeah.
Why, I can't explain it, Lieutenant. It's not my handkerchief.
But not yours.
No, it's mine, Lieutenant.
I thought so.
Yours, Miss Claire?
Yes. It's a very elaborate monogram. Hardly anybody could read it, but it is D.C. It does look something like my monogram. D''A. Except that my monogram is very plain and simple. Here.
Well, I'll bet you killed him anyway. You...
Hold on, Riley. Where did you find that key and handkerchief?
In Myra DeBray's dressing room.
Right. And since Mr. Bray wouldn't have put it in there in her own dressing room, and Delaclaire couldn't have, and since McIntosh wasn't on the scene at all when Henry was murdered, the only other possible person who could have killed both Frayne and Henry is...
Ah, you mean Nita Lindman?
No, Riley. I mean Mark Risdale.
Oh, gosh, Nick, I don't see how you figured that all out as fast as you did.
There were too many clues, Patsy. The black hairs on the dagger was a clue. The handkerchief with DeBray's initials on it was a clue. But both together were just a little too pat.
Oh.
Nobody leaves several incriminating clues around. Bothered me until I found that it wasn't DeBray's handkerchief. Then everything fell right into place.
What do you mean, everything?
Well, Risdale had a flop in his hands, and he knew it.
Uh-huh.
He was broke. He was going to lose his theater. But the appearance of Frayne and DeBray was insured for $50,000 each. That is, Risdale got $50,000 if either Frayne or DeBray did not appear in the show for any reason except voluntary withdrawal. So, if he could kill Frayne and hang the killing on Myra DeBray, he could collect $100,000 cash. And that would put him on his feet again.
Oh, I see.
So he sent everybody home, except the 7 who had to be there. Then he went to his office, sent for Frayne, and then laid in wait for him at the foot of the stairs, having arranged that no one else should be around at the time. And after killing him, he went back to his office and waited until the body was found.
And he planted the handkerchief there, thinking it was Mary Debray.
That's it. It was easy enough for him to plant the hairs on the dagger.
But how did he kill Henry? You were all there together, weren't you?
And he was clever enough to make it look so. He planted Henry in the vacant dressing room, and we all started upstairs. He'd probably have invented some excuse to stay behind, but Lindman started screaming just then, and we all rushed up on stage.
That's right.
Well, that gave Risdale a couple of minutes to slip back into the corridor, stab old Henry, lock the door, plant the key and handkerchief in the drain in Debray's room, and then join us in the office.
But, Nick, you heard old Henry speaking when Riley answered the phone, didn't you?
No, Patsy, I didn't. I heard Risdale impersonating Henry.
Oh, I get it.
You recall he slipped into the next office to get some aspirin? Well, he used the house phone in there, called his own office, impersonated Henry. Remember, he used to be an actor years ago, and then faked the blow in the fall. It was almost a beautiful alibi.
And if he hadn't mistaken Bella's handkerchief for Myra's, he might have gotten away with it.
Yes, Patsy. And that was a fatal error. Either the handkerchief or the hairs of the dagger would have been excellent proof. But he was so anxious to be sure Debray was the goat that he planted too much. He wove too many strands to his web, and one of them tripped him up. Well, so long for now.
So long, everybody.
And so long to you, Nick and Patsy. Nick Carter, Master Detective, is featured in Street and Smith magazines. Lon Clark is starred as Nick, with Helen Choate as Patsy. Original music is played by Lou White, and the programs are written and directed by Jock McGregor. Nick Carter, Master Detective, is presented at this time and over these same stations each week by the 3 great Linex home brighteners. This is Mutual.
Welcome back. Well, a good, solid mystery. One thing I noticed on this particular episode, and I think really stood out, is just how strong the organ music is on this series. And I think it stood out maybe just because so much of the other portions of the program, in terms of commercials and teasers for other episodes that were part of Nick Carter at this time in its history were missing. But you do see just this really strong use of organ music. You know, it's the very stereotypical use of the organ to kind of key dramatic moments. And it kind of is interesting to contrast with Boston Blackie, which we'll hear on Thursday, where the use of organ music is often to just go to the next scene and is often a lot lighter. But here it's really, really heavy and used to try and bring about dramatic effect. I also have to point out one of those, unusual coincidences that we have, where we have two straight cases where a dagger is the murder weapon. And, knife is one thing, but a dagger specifically, that's a really unique setup. We'll see if Rocky Jordan continues that dagger streak tomorrow. And join us back here next Tuesday for another previously uncirculated episode of Nick Carter. In the meantime, send your comments to box13@greatdetectives.net. Follow us on Twitter, Radio Detectives, and check out our YouTube archive, youtube.greatdetectives.net. From Boise, Idaho, this is your host, Adam Graham, signing off.
So, Matt, where do football players go when they need a new uniform?
I don't know, the locker room.
New Jersey?
That's lame.
Yeah, it is.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Graveyard. Thank you for joining us tonight. My name is Adam.
And my name's Matt.
Now, pull up a tombstone or settle into your casket and get comfortable, because this is Graveyard Tales.
All right, everybody. Here we are with another episode. So before we really get into it, like we always say, go check out the Podbelly Network at podbelly.com. We're members of the Podbelly Network, and you can find new podcasts and learn about things to start your own podcast. We real quick wanted to remind everybody that Saturday, July 18th, we have a live show coming up in Pigeon Forge with Hillbilly Horror Stories. You can go over to our link, graveyardpodcast.com. There's a page on there to buy tickets to that event. So hop over to graveyardpodcast.com and buy tickets if you're able to make it out to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. We'll be in the mountains and talking about mountain stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, but I mentioned this before. Gallenberg has got some pretty cool haunted stuff. They've got a really good haunted tour. So, come out to the show and just make it a whole, haunted mountain getaway. It'd be pretty cool.
Will be. We're really looking forward to it, and we know Jerry and Tracy from Hillbilly Horror Stories are looking forward to it too. So, like I said, go over, grab you a ticket if you're able to come, and we hope to see you there. We'll try to have some fun stuff to talk about, maybe some fun stuff to do. So, if you don't mind, go rate and review us on iTunes or wherever you listen to us. It will help bring more people into the graveyard. We shared a thing on Facebook and Twitter about the podcast Hot 50 chart thing. And we asked you guys to nominate us for that. That's another way, just if we can get our name out there on something like that, it will help bring more people into the graveyard and grow the graveyard a little more. So we want to make this a worldwide or even galaxy-wide show.
We want listeners on Pluto, people. Come on.
So, Matt, we're right on the heels of the really big football game, and I don't know if we're able to talk about the name of this football game or not.
I think we can, because we're not selling anything by using the name. So,
all right. Well, the Super Bowl was just when you hear this, it would be almost a week ago. So I thought it would be fun to kind of go over real quick the top 5 Super Bowl commercials, because that's why people watch it now. They don't care about the game. They watch it for the commercials, right?
yeah. Okay.
All right. So, Matt, I'm going to just see if you can guess which ones these are. So, the 5th one, Matt, you have any ideas what the 5th most popular is?
Let's see. I'm trying to remember the ones that I saw that kind of made me take notice. I really liked the Bill Murray Groundhog Day Jeep commercial.
Well, hold your horses. They like that one too.
That was higher up. What would be 5th? I don't know.
It was the Rocket Mortgage Comfortable with Jason Momoa, where he gets home and starts taking his muscles off.
Yeah, and he takes the wig off and he's bald.
Yep. Number 4 was the Doritos Cool Ranch commercial. It was the one with Sam Elliott and Lil Nas.
Yeah. I can't stand that song, so
yeah, right.
I like Sam Elliott.
Oh yeah.
I know the Cheeto one where the guy couldn't help anybody because he had Cheeto fingers.
Yeah, that was like down at one of the worst ones. That was like the bottom 5.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
I thought that was pretty funny.
America did not.
As they continue to eat Cheetos.
Yeah, exactly. Number 3 was Google, the Loretta commercial, where the old guy had Google pull up memories of his wife, Loretta.
Oh, yeah.
That had all of America crying.
Sappy.
Yep, yeah. Exactly. Number 2 was the Hyundai Schmott-Pock commercial.
Yeah, that was great. That was right off the beginning. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
I remember that was great.
Yeah, that one was in the first quarter. And then number 1 was the Jeep Groundhog Day commercial.
Yeah, that one was my favorite, partially because Groundhog Day is one of my favorite movies, and I loved that Jeep. I looked at Amanda and I said, I want one of those.
Dude, Ashley and I have been going over that for months. That is the car that I want, is the Jeep truck. But when I looked at the price of it versus what you can get for other ones.
No kidding.
I was like, no, I'm going to go with a Dodge, But
yeah.
I really, I was drooling. You can ask Ashley. I was drooling over that Jeep truck for months and months. And during the Texas State Fair, I got to get in one because I had it at the car show there. And I was able to get in one. And I was like, this is fantastic. I love Jeeps. But for a dude as big as me, what I would be paying for this, I could get a lot more leg room in a Dodge.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It would not ever be my main vehicle.
Oh yeah.
It couldn't be.
Yeah.
I've had friends with Jeeps and it was their main ride, and I was like, this is not a main ride.
No.
This thing is, unless it is snowing, this is not fun to have in the wintertime.
Yeah. I if I get enough money, then I'm going to get a Jeep or a Jeep truck as my backup vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't come off that much cash for a car that I'm not going to drive all the time.
Right. All right, Matt, we have pumped enough bovine scatology into the beginning of this episode that I think people might be getting mad.
Shut up.
Right, get to the point. So, Matt, get to the point. Tell us, what are we talking about tonight, brother?
Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about the strange events, strange activity, and mysterious disappearances on and around Mount Shasta in California.
Yeah.
And, I'd looked at this stuff. We had talked about a case before that occurred in Mount Shasta.
Mm-hmm. During our Missing 411 episodes.
Yeah, but I had no idea about all of the legend and lore associated with that mountain, which, is an active volcano.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I read somewhere where they expect it to erupt every 800 years or something, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know that I want to live down there because I don't know where we are in the count.
Well, people don't. I'll get to that. There might be. It might be coming up, actually. I'll get to that depending on when the last one was. But yeah, I mean, you don't think about live volcanoes being on, the mainland United States.
Well, people say Mount St. Helens is going to go again.
Yep.
So.
I mean, that's the only one we think of because that was the one that erupted during our lifetime. Right. So we think of that one, but we don't think of many other ones, but there are a few. There's a few that could go. Yeah. You got Yellowstone, giant super volcano there. The whole thing could go.
Look, I watched Dante's Peak. I know how stuff goes down. If Pierce Brosnan, if I see him snooping around, I'm gonna be like, I'm out.
Yeah, right. No kidding. If I see anybody running like that from any star running for their lives, I may go too because
I'm gonna go.
Yeah. So, like Matt was saying, Mount Shasta is in California, and it sits on the southern end of the Cascade Range in Siskiyou County, California, and it sits about 14,179 feet high. That's 4,322 meters for the people that use meters.
Not us.
Not us. I'm learning. I am learning meters and the metric system. I know y'all say, what, you just now learning? Yeah. I went to school way down south, and Texas doesn't believe in meters. We got feet. Why do we need meters? We don't need to convolute it. But I'm learning the metric system because it's just easier, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, don't let anybody hear me say that or I'll get kicked out of Texas again.
Again.
Yeah, let's not go into that either. So Mount Shasta is a large stratovolcano, like Matt was saying, and it's got 4 overlapping volcanic cones. Besides the main summit, Shasta has a 12,330 or 3,760 meter satellite volcanic cone that they call Shastina. So it's like Shasta and her daughter Shastina. Shasta has
wasn't what I was thinking.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Family show.
Yeah, right. So Shasta has erupted periodically over the last 600,000 years, and they still consider it to be an active volcano. Well, it's the second highest peak in the Cascades and the 5th highest in the state. The oldest known human settlement in that area dates back to, they're saying about 7,000 years ago is when they can carbon date things.
Wow.
The Hotlam Cone is the one that erupts the most, and the Hotlam Cone has erupted several times in the past 8,000 years, including, here's where we get into the discrepancies. They say one camp thinks that there was an eruption over 220 years ago that was noted by La Pérouse, a French explorer who saw the eruption from the coast in 1786. But it's disputed by the Smithsonian Institute's Global Volcanism Program that says that 1786 eruption has been discredited, and the last known eruption that they were able to verify with radiocarbon dating was in 1250 AD. So if it's in 1250 AD, we got another one coming up, man.
We're due.
We are due. So let's hope there was one in 1786. That'll push us off a little bit longer.
Right.
But yeah. So there are several hot sulfur springs near the summit of Mount Shasta that prove that there is still volcanic